Hi everyone, it's Dave from DailyTechTV, and this is going to be a very controversial video. I've got a question here from viewer exclusive Aaron. Is it worth spending £999 on a MacBook Pro when you can get a similar spec Windows laptop for like £500? What's so good about the Mac? Now that is a brilliant question, and it's going to spark up this whole debate again about Mac versus PC. Now before I answer your question about those specific laptops, I'm going to let you into a little sort of secret behind me. Let me just move around here. You can see here I've got an Alienware PC. It's the latest Aurora R3. It's going to cost you well over £1,000, probably nearer to 1,500 for a good spec one, and that's very similar cost to one of the entry-level Mac Pros. Just underneath, I'm not sure if you can see it on the video, but just down here, it's just out of shot actually, I've got a Mac Mini, which is obviously a lot cheaper. And out of those two, I would throw that Alienware in the bin and use the Mac Mini. Mac OS X blows Windows 7 out of the water. It's not to say Windows 7 is rubbish, you can still get the job done on Windows 7, but when it comes down to the operating systems, Mac OS X allows me to get my job done so much easier. Don't post loads of hate comments, everyone. There's no point. You're not going to change my mind about what I think, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. But Windows 7 just seems to get in the way. That Alienware PC is really good performance-wise, but I think more or less every time I've shut it down, I've had to wait for it to shut down while it does blinking Windows updates. It seems like every single time it's got to wait and do 20 updates, 10 updates, a couple of updates for this. Goodness me, it's very frustrating. Anyway, going to answer your specific question now. I've had my little rant. MacBook Pro or a similar spec Windows laptop for like 500. It's very true what you've said. You can get a very similar spec Windows based laptop for around about the £500 mark, but what you're getting is something that probably won't run the next version of Windows very well. It probably won't outlast the MacBook Pro hardware wise, and I think you'll just have a disappointing experience with having to do your updates, sort of lacklustre hardware, if that makes sense. What you're going to be getting is probably quite cheap materials used to make the laptop with. You're definitely not going to get as good a screen as on the MacBook Pro for that sort of price range, and I think you'll just miss the quality that the MacBook Pro delivers. Now let me just tell you what the MacBook Pro offers. You've obviously got that unibody design, you've got that aluminium casing, brilliant screen, really fantastic screen on the MacBook Pro range. You've also got the fact that Apple make the hardware and the software, so they work very well in unison together, and you'll have a lot less issues with the operating system. Also, you've got Apple's customer service and also the hardware longevity. Now let me talk about customer service first. Of course, you can just buy the MacBook Pro, and for that first year you've got the full warranty, you've got the backup by Apple. Anything goes wrong, they're really good at sorting it out. I've even heard of people getting things sorted out outside of the warranty period when they've got a problem. You can also buy Apple Care, which is going to add to the cost, about £160, something like that. Gives you 3 years of cover, and anything goes wrong, apart from accidental damage, they will sort it out. I've had machines swapped out once they've been 2.5 years old sometimes, and Apple are brilliant at making sure their customers are happy. Try the same thing with somebody like Dell or Asus or Acer or Lenovo, and yes, they've all got varying degrees of good customer service, but I've not heard as many good stories about them as Apple. And I hate to name those particular manufacturers. There's loads of laptop manufacturers. If I want to name some more, there's Toshiba, Samsung, oh goodness me, loads of them. So it's not one particular one, it's just in general, I think Apple go that one step further to make sure their customers are happy. Now, I also mentioned about longevity of hardware. I've got a PowerBook 12-inch that's still running Mac OS 10. That's a, I can't remember how old that is now, 8-9-year-old laptop, still running fine. So I think you'll find a latest MacBook Pro is going to last you at least 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 years before you even have to consider changing it to run the latest operating system or the latest software. Now, a lot of you are going to be thinking I've been speaking crap through this video, I'm just an Apple fanboy. I've used PC laptops, my background is I'm an ex-IBM engineer, so I know what I'm talking about when it comes to PC hardware and software. Just my opinion, I would much rather pay that extra premium for an Apple Mac computer. That's just my choice. Your choice might be to save some money and go along the PC route, and I commend you for that. You're probably making a wise choice and putting that money in your pocket, spending it on something else. But I've had a lot of people where I've had to help them with PC laptops and they're scratching their heads. In fact, I'll share a little story with you. I had somebody who was asking my advice. I recommended that they went for a MacBook Air, a 13-inch MacBook Air, and they went for a Toshiba laptop in the end, and they had problems with Wi-Fi. They had problems with installing Norton because they needed Norton on there. They also had problems with the Microsoft Office suite. It kept crashing and they had to uninstall and reinstall it. Then they had this continual activation problem on Norton, which I sorted out for them. Then it had to go in for a repair on the on a Wi-Fi issue. Then it had to have another repair for an optical drive issue as well for the DVD drive. And in the end, they were so frustrated with it that although they didn't change to a MacBook because they'd spent their money, they couldn't get a refund, they wished they had spent that little bit more. So I hope that's answered your question. It's one of those debates that we could go on and on and on about, Mac versus PC. Both in essence will get the job done. My personal preference and recommendation is Apple all the way. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you've got any new questions, leave them in the comments section below and I will try and answer them in a future video. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you all in the next one.